Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about Dynos.io. I'm going to give you a brief demo of Dynos.io editor. If you go to Dynos.io, it will redirect you to preview.dynos.io, where our beta is hosted. If you click Sign Up here, it will take you to our sign-in page. Here, you can use your Gmail or any other email you want to sign in. It will take you to this screen where you can add a new Dino. Since I already created a few other Dinos, it shows up here. Let's just start with a blank Dino for this demo so we can see the editor. This looks like a typical word processing editor that you may have been familiar with. This is where you can type in a title, where I will say Sample Dino. And here's where you can start typing in your content. Add some static content here. Add paragraphs of text. So up to this point, there is no different from any other editor you may have been experienced with. Meaning you typed in some content, and your readers of this content would read the same as what you typed. This is called static text. Now, I'm going to show you the power of this dynamic editor. Let's type add a dynamic field. Here, a dynamic field could be text field, drop-down, slider, number, or any of these. I'm going to pick number here for this demo. We just added a number field, space, and add more text. So we just added text with a dynamic field. This means when we do a preview, your readers can actually edit this dynamic field. Great. Now, if you click this number 1, you can see some options on the context panel that you can go through. For example, I can simply turn off the inline edit option here and show this number box all the time. Similarly, I can add units or format to the number using this panel. So for this demo, I'm going to leave all these options to default. Similar to the number box, you can try adding other fields like slider or drop-down. Now, let's add a function. If I type equals key, it will bring this function box where I can type in any expression. So, similar to Excel or any other tool, you can type in an expression here. Here, let's say number 1 plus 100. Now, if you do a preview again and change this field, you can see how changing the number changes this function output automatically. Let's go back to edit mode. Since it's a function, here we have a variety of functions that you can add. For example, if I want to add square root, I typed in square root here, and it inserted the function for me. Here, I will say plus square root of number 1. So you can see that it does all the math, calculates square root, and adds number 1 and 100, and produces the output. Now, if I want to add a format here, I can add a semicolon followed by the format 0.000. Now we have the output rounded off to 3 digits. Now let's see how we can add an if condition. For this, let's add an option. For this, select options from inputs. For choice 1, choice 2, I'm going to type adverb and adjective. Let's turn off inline edit for this, as I want to show all the available options. And let's leave display vertically. Here we can say if options 1 equals to adverb, good job. Otherwise, try again. Let's select adverb, and it shows good job. Otherwise, it says try again. That's the demo of a simple if condition. Now let's add an equation. Note that every element we add here is dynamic. Let's check it out. Here I'll say square root of x divided by number 1. Number 1 is the field that we are using. It reflects whatever we type in the number 1 box here in this equation. Let's do a preview here. As I change the value of number 1, you can see how the equation is getting updated. Similarly, you can also add image. At this point, it is a static image, and we are working on making dynamic in the subsequent releases. This means changing a field could change the size of the image as well. Let's add a table now by clicking the table here. For table, I'll say apples, oranges for the first column. And in the second column, I'll add 10 and 20 here. Now, let's reference content from the table. Here I can say equals table 1, 0, and 0. It gives us the value from the first row and first column, which is apples. Now, if I say 0 and 1, it gives the value 10. Now here I can say plus 10. Now as I change the value from the table, you can see how the function is getting updated. Now let's add a chart. Now that we have a table, we're going to use that table as a data source for the chart. Chart type is bar chart. Table is table 1. Data row is going to be column 2. Label row is going to be column 1. Now, here you can see apples and oranges represented in the chart. Since it is dynamic, we can change the content in the table and have the chart updated to the values we changed to. Similarly, we can also pick chart type as pie. There's your apples and oranges shown in pie diagram. We can also add a function plot. Let me show you how we can add a function plot. Select Charts from the menu and select Function for the chart type. Let's say sign of x for the function name. Minimum, I would say 0 and max 10. Cool thing here is, I can also reference a field here, meaning I can say sign x plus number 1. Or I can say x plus number 1. Let's reduce the value of number 1 to 30. And you can see the straight line plot with the y-intercept, which is actually our field number 1. So, there we go. This is your dynamic document called Dino. Here, your students can interact with any part of your document by simply playing with the fields. In the coming tutorials, we're going to talk in detail on how to collect responses of these fields. Briefly, if you want to make this content a form, you can simply click this box that says Collect Responses and select fields that you want to collect responses on. Number 1, you can collect responses on. Similarly, for options 1, you can also collect responses. In the coming tutorials, we're going to show you how you can also make this a self-graded assignment or a practice quiz where you should be able to select a field like number 1 and specify correct answers and the corresponding explanations. At this point, let's save and hit Publish. Let's click Back button, and let's open the Dino we created, Sample Dino. And click the Dino. You can see the Dino we created. You can share this with anyone that you would like. There are share settings where you can specify your privacy options and make this Dino copy protected or open if you would like. Now, we also have class infrastructure, which you can use if you are a teacher or student. Here, we have a class that is already created. Under each module, we can add Dinos either from My Dinos or from Gallery. Here's where you can add your students by sharing the class code that's printed up here. Now, we also have integrations built in with other LMS like Google Classroom, using which you can simply import your classes into Dynos. Thanks for watching this quick tutorial. Note that we will be making continuous improvements and adding enhancements to our product throughout this beta. So please follow us on our Twitter and Facebook at Dynos.io for the latest updates.